1% don't just make money. They move differently with the money that they have. And here's the secret that a lot of them don't tell you. You don't need millions to start making wealth. You just need to move differently with the wealth that you have right now. Welcome back to Seriously, the Claudia Project, your daily morning show where we talk about everything from motivation, lifestyle, everything in between, and how to show up for yourself in real time. Let's get into how you can break down the money that you have right now and how we're going to start making small steps to move towards that 1% and really have a grip on what we're doing with our finances. So you guys know we always start with the Seriously segment, and we're going to get right into 5 simple ways the 1% manage their money and how you can do it with the money that you have right now in your account without feeling like you're losing out on anything. Number 1, this is the most important step and what I'm working on right now. I will be honest with you guys, a lot of these tips that I found and kind of put together today, I'm still working on myself. And so don't feel like you have to do all of them at once. Even if you just take one thing from this episode this morning, it's going to help you move in the right direction. So like I said, number 1, you need to know exactly where all of your money is going. Right now, I have $5.99 that's going to an Oura ring that I don't even use anymore. I just couldn't get with it. It kept like dying. I had to replace it a bunch of times. Anyway, this is not about Oura ring, but it is to say that there's a $5.99 charge that's coming out of my account monthly that there's no reason should be happening. So track everything that comes out. There are tons of free Excel docs online. I will link what we use in our house to track. I think it costs $20. You can use it year over year, but it's a very easy Excel doc that you can put in every single, it helps you budget. And so that's a way to do it. You can track it just on paper if that's something that you're into, the old school way, but track every single dollar, every time you eat out, every coffee that you buy, and figure out exactly where your money's going. A lot of times there's a lot of cash moving around and you don't even realize that you've wasted $300 this month on Uber Eats and what those fees really cost. And just getting a hold of that is a wonderful step to get a hold of your finances so that you know what's happening. The top 1% can tell you how their money is being spent, where it is, what accounts it's in, when things come out. Life's not just happening to them. You guys know that is something we talk about every single day here. It is getting a hold of what's happening in your life. Number 2, automating small money moves. So a lot of times the 1%, they don't rely on willpower, which we keep talking about. All of this is about being consistent, setting up systems, not having to think about it. And so even if you start with an automatic trigger that feels really small, $5 to $25 that comes out every single time you get paid into a high yield savings account, which you likely have at the bank that you are provided. You're putting just a little bit of money in a savings account that over time will draw interest and you'll be making money on your money. And if you do it as an automatic trigger, it's not something you have to think about. And so over the span of 3 to 5 years, there will just be money sitting, accruing interest for you that you can use for a college fund, a renovation in your house long-term, to buy stocks maybe one day. But just go ahead and building this system into your schedule so that you don't have to think about it will help take some of the pressure off, and you'll know that it's happening automatically and you won't have to think about it. Again, start small. Even if you feel like you have absolutely no money to spare, moving $5 every paycheck, it feels small right now, but just like we talked about yesterday, one brick at a time is how we start building those cycles and repeatable things so that you can make a difference in your spending. Number 3, separate out your money. So depending on the type of account you have, depends on if you can open multiple checking accounts. And I don't want you paying a bunch of fees to have a bunch of different accounts, but a lot of banks will only charge you one. But knowing exactly what is in each account and what it's for. So we have a checking account that's specifically just for bills. And so everything that has to be paid out goes into that account, and then it sits pretty, not at zero, right? Because we don't want like overdraft fees, but it sits like very, very low. It's not an account we keep a ton of cash in, but it's where all of the bills come out. So we know everything goes in there. You separate out first paycheck, second paycheck, everything kind of goes in there, and that's how it kind of gets distributed. And then I have a savings account that is just for like, I pull it to go get to like $5,000, and then once it gets to $5,000, and I move that over to a high yielding savings account. And there's no time frame in which I have to get there, but I like to see the 5,000 and like be excited about that number, and then move it over to a high yield where I won't like take it out, move it around, that kind of thing. And then I have my checking account, which has like my, say like play money for the month, whatever I've budgeted for clothing that month, entertainment that month, and that's where that kind of sits. And then everything else sits in an automatic savings account that I have that's separate. So I've got my money separated out in buckets. But if you think about like a bills account, future funds, and then like fund money, knowing exactly where those funds are. So when you're looking at your accounts, you're like, oh, I still have $180 this month for fun. Like, then you don't feel bad. You don't have to go back to calculating it, because you know that this account is literally for going to dinner, those kind of things. Wealthy people don't let all of their money just sit in one account doing nothing. So knowing what the account's for and how you're actually going to be using it, super helpful, makes it very easy, and keeps you organized after you've budgeted out exactly how things are going to kind of move from one place to another. You've already moved money automatically to your savings account, and so now you're bucketing it out, so it's even easier to get into those systems and something you don't have to think about over time. Make one smart money decision every single month. I know that a lot of times it can seem like, well, when you're starting out, especially if you haven't focused on your finances, which is something that we're super focused on right now, taxes, getting everything together, talking about having a financial advisor, what that really looks like as we kind of age, thinking about college funds and making sure that the college funds we have set up are actually going to be ready to send someone to the expense that is college at this point, 20 years from, well, 20 years? Less than that, 15 years from now or so. What can that be? So like, 1 month, do you open a high yield savings account, learning what a high yield savings account really is and how you can get one and what it looks like to use it. Maybe paying off small debt. So pick something that's small that you have. Maybe you have a credit card that's got about $1,000 on it, focusing on paying that off and then moving to the next debt that you have. If you have no debt, figuring out what you're saving for, how you're saving it. Again, that high yield savings account is something super to look into. And then maybe investing your first $25. If you're already investing, looking at the investments that you have, making sure your investments are like equally spread across a few different options. And so you're not just dedicating your investments all to one thing, but you're looking at diversifying your investments. So maybe that's where you're kind of moving into, but being smart with what you're doing, and every single month making a financial decision for your family and yourself. That way you're putting yourself in the best situation moving forward. Yeah. And lastly, use your money to buy back time. The top 1%, if they have extra cash or they don't have extra cash, but they're looking for time so that they can make more money to be able to invest into more things or even just do more things, figure out where you can get some of your time back. So meal prep options, childcare options. Maybe you, instead of spending your Sundays for 4 hours doing baseboards, you spend $250 and bring somebody in once a month to do all the deep cleaning in your house. That way you have, you know that every single month you're going to have clean baseboards, clean floors. They're going to dust everything, get into those crannies that take you hours and hours. Just time to get back in your day. There's tons of options. Maybe you invest in dry cleaning. Maybe you hate doing laundry and you pay. There's like services that will pick it up if you bag it. And for $60, they'll do all of your laundry. They'll fold it. They'll bring it back to your house and drop it off. Amazing options. But looking into things that you, one, hate, don't want to do, and then figuring out if you can add in maybe paying for some of those services, even if it's not all the time. Maybe it's once a quarter you bring somebody in to do something. Having a date night once a month and saving and putting that money to the side so that you know that every third Thursday of the month, you have a babysitter that comes in and you pay the whatever the fee is at this point for sitters who you're basically also sending to college, because that's how much it costs to have a babysitter come to your house that you trust. But creating space and not clutter in your life, and like adding that expense into your life to make your life a little easier. Those are 5 very simple tips that, like, if you just take the 5 minutes to think about it, will make a substantial change in how you look at finances and get you closer to what the 1% are already doing. We will continue taking a deep dive into finances here on this channel, just because it's something that I'm super passionate about learning about right now and getting better at. And I think all of us can do a better job with like how we are managing our money, our families, our futures, and getting a hold of our finances is definitely going to be something that's going to be a game changer for all of us. So moving into our Seriously segment this month, back to something that we just talked about, and that is go ahead and set up your future fund today. It will take you less than 20 minutes to go to your account and set up that $10 auto transfer so that it goes every single week. You're taking $10 out of your account, which I know that you're either spending on Chick-fil-A or a coffee somewhere that you don't need. Maybe you have a habit of like picking up a Diet Coke and donuts at the gas station. I don't know what it is, but I know that you have $10 that you're wasting away doing something that's unnecessary, and you're going to turn on an auto that's going to go from your checkings to your savings. And every week we're going to auto draft $10. And at the end of the month, we're going to have $40. And guess what? Frame, we will have saved $480. And maybe it doesn't look like a lot, right? It probably doesn't. But 5 years from now, we will be able to buy some type of handbag for $2,400. So, no, but seriously, the joke is start with $10, and then once you get used to that auto draft, then we're going to take it up another notch. And you're going to look at your budget and you're going to see like, what can I auto set for this savings? And that's what this Seriously segment is about today. It's just 90 seconds to set up an auto draft to help you start making better decisions with your money. And every single week doing it small at a time will make it feel less of a hassle. And then once you get used to it, then we'll up the number and you'll feel great about it. Atlanta in real life. Atlanta in real life. So this one, it goes to a place I haven't been yet, but I'm really excited to check it out. Again, I told you guys yesterday, I met with a sales consultant for compliance at my job, and his wife is from Brazil, and he told us about the Brazilian shop, the Brazilian pastry shop. Yeah, the Brazilian Bakery Cafe. It's in Marietta. He said it has the best treats. He said it's a wonderful place to take your kids if you're looking for like sweet treats that are Brazilian based. He said his wife loves it. His kids love it. They go to Brazil every year. And so we're trusting him. They say they have lots of fried and baked goods, lots of cakes and cookies and stuff. So I was suggested it, so I'm suggesting it to you guys. Check it out. Let me know how you guys feel about it in the comments. I think I'm going to try to take action on Sunday, so I'll let you guys know next week how he liked it. He's not really a sweets guy, so we'll see. But Amara's all about sweets, so I'm sure she'll like eat it up, literally. So shout out to the Brazilian Bakery Cafe. We will be checking you out on Sunday. Yeah, we'll be checking them out on Sunday, so you guys should definitely check it out and let me know how you feel about it. And yeah, we'll get after it. The community shout out today is to all the companies that are still letting people work from home. I got to work from home on Thursday because the majority of my office was traveling for a meeting that I did not have to attend. And it's just so nice. Like, I got so much work done sitting in my office. I will say that I am sort of like a believer that going in the office is actually very helpful, not only just for work culture, but also for the economy. And it like helps everybody kind of work together. I could go on a tangent about why I think working in an office makes sense. But I do think that working from home 1 day a week is a really great way for like employees to enjoy the work that they do. Like, you still want to work because you are like used to going to the office, so you know people are expecting you to have things done, but you're so able to do other things. Like I was able to like make my lunch in my kitchen, and I warmed up salmon because I was here by myself and I have to worry about people being upset about fish being in the microwave. And I was able to just like walk to my own personal bathroom and not have to worry about other people being in there with me. And I was able to like rotate the laundry that I started last night, which is really great in between meetings. There's just something nice about the flexibility. Roxanne and I got to walk in the middle of the day for my lunch break, which was really, really great. And overall, I just think it's a really nice feature. But again, I am a pro component of being in the office. I truly, truly am. Here it is after work and people are still teamsing me. I'm all about it. So sorry, I am a hater in that sense, I guess you'd say. Anyway, guys, I hope that this episode today about finances was helpful and there are tips and tricks that you guys are using to make those first steps to be more like the 1% on how you're handling your money. It is, I think the hardest part with finances is just starting. It feels like something where you're like, I don't know enough, and so I don't want to be wrong. And so instead of making a step forward, you just do nothing. That's where I've kind of been. And I'm not going to be like that anymore. I just don't want to be. And so let's go on this journey together. More finance episodes to come where we're going to be learning and getting through this together. As always, seriously, this is the Claudia Project. Thank you guys so much for being here. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, share with your friends so that we can continue to grow this here family that we've got going on. We will be back again tomorrow for the final episode of the week, and then have a wonderful day at work. Be nice to those around you and have a wonderful day. See you later, guys. See you later, guys. Bye.